Hello and welcome to another video in my Isle of Man cost of living series, and this one includes a bit of a challenge. Namely, can you live on £1 a day over here? And with that I mean, can you have free meals for one day for £1? Now these £1 a day challenges, they are of course nothing new. They've been done a number of times before, and maybe the most prominent YouTuber to do it is called Atomic Shrimp. And I'm going to link to his channel in the description because his channel is really cool. You should really check him out. He did this challenge in the UK, and the last time he did it, I believe, was last September. So I got my inspiration from him, but I wanted to see, because we all know that there are differences between the UK and the Isle of Man in terms of supermarket pricing and also in terms of supermarket stock, the range that they have. So I wanted to see, can I recreate this experience over here? Can we also do this? Can we live on £1 a day? And since he last did it in September, have the prices changed, or are the prices over here different to what you would come across in the Tesco in the UK? So it's a very straightforward challenge, and let's get right into it, go down into town and see what we can get for £1. So I've just arrived at Tesco, £1 in my hand, and let's go inside and see if we can get free meals for one day for £1. I've chosen Tesco for this exercise because to me Tesco, as I explained in the previous video, felt like the cheapest supermarket on the Isle of Man. I'm not saying it is, but it certainly felt like it to me, and that's why I decided that £1 probably goes the furthest here. I think part of the reason Tesco feels so cheap, or is relatively cheap, is because they do have the Aldi price match, even though we don't actually have an Aldi over here, so that's good for us. But what I noticed is that some of the stuff Atomic Shrimp had in his video, I couldn't see those items on the shelf before here, so I'm going to see if I find the same items and if they are actually the same price, because as we all know, there are differences between the UK and us. Also, I'm going to allow myself the same sort of cheat codes that, well, similar cheat codes that Atomic Shrimp did. Number one is energy and transport is excluded from the £1. That wouldn't work otherwise. And number two, we will get free condiments, and that means I'm going to stop by KFC to nick some tomato sauce, and I'm going to stop by McDonald's to nick some salt and pepper so we don't have to buy those. But those are pretty much the only cheat codes I'm going to allow myself. Other than that, it's £1. So that's it. Let's go shopping. So, welcome back to the studio, and here it is, our £1 haul. In fact, I spent less than £1. I spent 98 pence, and let's have a quick look through. So, we have a loose banana for 10 pence. We have a James Bond onion, because it was 7p, 007. We have 500 grams of spaghetti, 28p. 2 loose carrots for 12 pence. We have spaghetti hoops for 16p the can, and we have some garden peas for, they were quite expensive, 25p. And then I picked up some free condiments on the way up. So we have tomato sauce, barbecue sauce, salt, pepper, that kind of thing. That's it. That's what you get for £1 in the local Tesco's. I think it's actually not too bad if you look at it. It's quite a lot of food for £1 if you think about it. But of course, now we have to decide what we're going to do with it. The challenge is to have 3 different meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And let's start with breakfast. So with breakfast, I'm gonna cook these after and stick them on the screen. So for breakfast, I'm going to cook, we can eat the banana, and we can have half the spaghetti with the garden peas and make a sauce out of the condiments. So that should give you some energy to get going in the day. For lunch, I would suggest we go for the other half of the spaghetti, together with 1 carrot, the onion, and again, a condiment sauce. And then for dinner, we're going to go for the spaghetti hoops with the other carrots, and we can possibly again boost it with a bit of condiment stuff just to get the calorie count up. So that's 3 meals for £1 in one day. Obviously they are not, huge meals, and they're not fancy, but if you are hard pressed, it's possible to live on £1 a day. But I think one important part we need to look at before I wrap this up is the calorie count. Now, I did a rough calculation of everything that's on the table here, based on what's on the back of it and what we know, how much a banana is, and so on. An adult male should take in around 2,000 calories a day, I believe. That's the guideline. Everything you see here on the table, including the sugary sources, barely comes to about 1,200. And that is, of course, a problem. That is less than you should have. And of course, yeah, this is all carbs, so this is sugary and it will give you energy, but you're not getting enough calories. And maybe this is something where you guys can help me. Maybe you have better ideas for recipes, or you can tell me how I can use my 1 pound better to boost the nutritional intake, the calorie intake up to 2,000, and do maybe different recipes or add something else that's free. So please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear, ideas and suggestions for recipes, for other things I should have bought. But this is what you get for 1 pound. So yes, it is possible to live on a pound over here. The prices, from what I compared it to Atomic Shrimp's videos, they weren't that different. Some of the things, like I said before, I didn't see on the shelf here that they have on the shelf in the UK. So there will be differences in range. But by and far, it's possible to live on 1 pound in the Isle of Man, to have 3 meals for a day. It's not great, but it's possible. And I think that was sort of the subject of this video, really. It's an experiment. But let me know what you think. Give me some ideas, recipes, comments, anything like that. And I hope you liked this little experiment, and I hope it might help you in future when you go shopping and you see that you can have your spaghetti for 28p instead of buying the branded stuff for 1 or 2 pounds. So, there are ways to save a lot of money, and you don't have to go as extreme as 1 pound. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.